In 1996, we were introduced to 3 lovable characters named Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Pikachu. These pocket monsters would change the gaming world forever. Now, fast forward to 2019, over 20 years later, and they are no longer content with consuming our every waking hour. Now, they also want the sleeping ones. The Pokémon Company will release an app and companion device that trains your Pokémon while you sleep. And if that doesn't make sense to you either, then you are in good company. And that's what we want to talk about this week on the Free Play Podcast.
You are listening to the Free Play Podcast with Bubba Stallcup, Matt Warmbier, and Kate Katawaki, part of the Love Thy Nerd podcast network.
What's up, nerds? My name is Bubba Stallcup, and I'm the Chief Community Nerd here at Love Thy Nerd, and you are listening to the Free Play Podcast, part of the Love Thy Nerd podcast network, and joined with me is our Chief Social Media Nerd, Kate Katawaki.
Hello. I was all prepared to do a Matt impression.
Oh, and our Chief Outreach Nerd, Matt Warmbier.
What up?
Starbucks and LaCroix.
Love it. That's how you know it's
up?
Not him.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, Matt is not here. Poor guy has throat issues, and I don't know if you guys know anything about podcasts, but if your throat's not working, like in the podcast world, that's the moneymaker. So we're giving him the day off. We don't have any control over that. He took the evening off because he's got to go and see the throat doctor, and get it figured out. We are hoping. Kate's really, really, really hoping it's not strep.
I'm really, really hoping it's not because it's so
it would
sad.
Suck.
And it would suck. And
it would be the literal worst if it was strep. Because Matt's leaving for Origins in a few days.
A week.
Yeah.
Ish.
Several hours.
Somewhere
from now.
around some length of time from now he's leaving.
It really doesn't matter when he's leaving. He is, and if he has throat issues, then screaming at people at a convention, in a good way, not in a bad way, is going to be really hard, you know. So we're hoping that he's okay. That
he'll be. Go. I'm sure he'll be fine. Right?
Yeah, man, just a couple of drinks of hot tea and some
hot LaCroix, and he'll.
Ooh-wee.
Has anybody ever tried that? It's got to be something there.
I am half tempted to, on my way home, to pick up LaCroix and boil it.
No.
And then see what it's like to have a LaCroix tea. I'm doing that.
That sounds so disgusting. It'll probably burn.
Kate, I need you to send me a text right now to remind me to do that. To pick up LaCroix.
Okay,
and then I will boil it.
Let's see, pick up 1 LaCroix, any flavor, boil.
Yeah, send me the recipe. Perfect. But like I said, you are listening to the Free Play Podcast, and normally we are one half of the founding members of Love Thy Nerd. So if you found us at one of our shows that we just got back from, whether it was the Urban Youth Workers Institute
National Conference.
Whew-wee, that's a lot of words there.
It is.
If you found us there in ye old California, or if you were in Texas and you hooked up with us there at Family Fun Comic-Con that we just did this past weekend, welcome to Love Thy Nerd. We are so glad to have you.
Glad.
If you guys, really so glad. If you guys have been with us for a long time, welcome back. And that was weird. I don't know why I said any of that.
I don't know, but I thought it was welcoming.
Welcome back.
I thought it was nice.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I'm going to get us flagged. That was the Mr. Kata. Mr. Kata.
Great. All we need is a flag.
Yeah, what are we doing here? Let's do a podcast. But what we like to do here on Free Play is talk about all the things that are nerdy that pertain to areas that we care about. What really happens is when you get a microphone and a podcast, you can talk about anything you want to.
It's true.
And seeing as we're founders of this here organization, I guess we can really, really talk about anything that we want to. And we got a couple of things we want to talk about today.
Mm-hmm.
The big thing is Pokemon, and we'll get to that here in a second. But I think it's worth noting that we It's Monday. Today, when we record this, it's the 3rd. We don't really like to tote that around and make that a big deal because it kind of breaks the illusion that you're like listening live or whatever. But the fact of the matter is that on Wednesday, on the 5th, this is in the past when you're listening to this, there is a Pokemon Direct that's going to be happening. And so all of the stuff that we say, you're going to know that and more and be able to go and watch the YouTube video and all sorts of stuff. But we're going to get to Pokemon later. What we like to do is start out here at the beginning of the show and talk about the games that we've been playing. So Kate, we're going to start with you for a change.
All right.
Tell me what games you've been playing, and specifically, what games did you play on International Tabletop Day on June the 1st? I'm really interested in that.
Well, also not listed here. Okay, so last week I was not here, as you mentioned, because I was in Death Valley.
That sounds pretty ominous when you put it like that.
Having an adventure, I guess. Just the weather was not what it said it was going to be at all. It was the complete opposite. We experienced every type of California weather that you can experience in
Which
about...
is like hot and hot.
Well, it was just...
And 70 and hot.
Well, it said it was going to be like 90. Instead, it was freezing. Then you have rain, hail, thunder, lightning, windstorm. I'm like, this is... But worst of all, out of all those things, was that for a second, I thought I wasn't going to be able to complete my Duolingo streak because...
Didn't you get knocked off?
No, well, here's... No.
Oh, you just shared a sticker. That's what it was.
I got access to Duolingo stickers. But here's the thing is I was able to access it the first day that we didn't have any service because my phone had somehow like downloaded X amount of lessons. But then to proceed, I needed a connection, right? And I said to Matt I was going to make it 50 days of a streak. And I was in the 20s at this. I was at 25 days in a row at this point. So that'd be like half. I'd have to start over. And I was panicking. I'm like, Steven, I can't access any of my lessons. Look, I click it and nothing happens. And he's like, well, I don't know. Then, can you believe this? Out of the middle of nowhere, there's like a town with service. And I'm able to keep going on in the middle of Death Valley. It's 2 gift shops and a gas station. It's called Stovepipe Wells.
Whoa, shout out.
And yeah, shout out to Stovepipe Wells for saving my day streak in Duolingo because I was able to just make it through and I was seriously so relieved. I was so happy. So day 33, we're at day 33 and...
That's good. Are you learning anything or are you just keeping the streak alive?
No, I'm learning a lot and I don't want to brag, but this past week I was the champion of the Gold League. That means I had the most experience points out of anybody in those 3 leagues. The Gold League and the 2 below. Yes, learning Spanish.
There's no way.
Now I'm in the Sapphire League, and right now I'm the champion. So I got to really stay on top of it.
How many people are online? I need to know numbers.
I don't know, but
3, 4.
There's way more. Look, let's see who I'm ahead of right now. There's way more than that. They said they have millions of losers of users. No.
Okay, hey, if you're not first, you're last, right?
See, look. Oh, yeah, I guess you can't see. And top 10 advance to the next league. So I'm like, I'm in it. All right. I got to get to the very top. I'm in it to win it and also to learn Spanish. So besides that,
what have you learned? Let's go. Let's give me.
Well, let's see. What are my, right now I'm working on shopping, school, and people. So
prove it.
I don't know the answer to this one. I was just trying to pull up my.
What is it? I'll help you.
No, you don't know. Well, actually, you could know. You very easily could know. No, right now I'm just talking about like school, like
escuela.
Yeah, escuela. The question is interesting. How about I say that? An interesting question.
Muy interesante.
No, that's just very, very interesting. But pregunta, un pregunta interesante. Interesting question.
Oh, well, yeah, I did. Yeah.
So you ask an interesting question. What have I been playing?
Oh, I thought we were doing the Duolingo. You're not. You're just like figuring out how to talk to me in Spanish.
No, that was one of the things in my school lesson. It said, write an interesting question in Spanish, and you have to write it in Spanish.
Oh, the phrase, an interesting question.
Yes. So I said it to you in Spanish, and then I said an example of it in English for you, but it just went over your head.
Thank you.
So before I left for Death Valley, I finished that game that I was playing called A Plague Tale, the one that was...
Oh, yeah. And?
So good. So good.
Okay. Like, what about it? Specifically, like, I mean...
The storytelling, the world that they created. The last time I talked about it, I said it was very Last of Us-esque, but if all the main characters were kids. So... And just history, I don't know. I mean, obviously, there's a bunch of it that's not real history. It's not real. But,
well, not yet. Not yet, yeah.
But, man, talk about an intriguing game experience. I have never died in a game and made it through as many times as I've died in that game. And I wanted to throw my controller out the window because I was so frustrated. But I made it through.
Nice.
I made it through. So... Just what specifically about it? Everything about it. Just watch. I don't know.
Specifically,
you have to watch
everything.
Watch the trailer. Everything about it was interesting to me. Even the difficult, where I died a million times, parts. It was $50, and
hoo-wee.
I know it was. I thought it was a tad overpriced, but also I felt fine about paying it at the end.
Okay.
And I think there could easily be a follow-up or something. Will there be? I don't know. But they set it up in a way that's kind of open-ended at the end, and I'm like, make another one. I'll pay another $50.
Yeah, you will. Hey, so it's a guaranteed sale. Tweet them. You got that verified account.
Guaranteed sale from me.
Yeah, that's worth it. That's worth it.
And yesterday, I jumped back into Assassin's Creed Odyssey because I haven't finished up the DLC that I had, and there's new DLC out that looks muy interesante, and...
Yeah. Pergo, right?
It's
all right, or
I don't know.
Right?
It's all about. Well, I guess it's not spoiling it if you say it's
no,
about,
it's not.
It's about
the
Atlantis.
The DLC tells you what it's about. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm intrigued. So I think I might do that. I love Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It is a great.
I need to.
You got it, didn't you?
No, No, remember Matt did.
No, he got Origins.
Well, he got an Assassin's Creed. And I told him to get Odyssey. When it was like $17, I was talking with the guy that I game share with about getting it, and then I ended up just not getting it. And I'm not sad about that because
it was $17.
Yeah,
Odyssey was. I mean, are you sure?
Yeah,
it was Odyssey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. Because they had.
Has Matt been playing Odyssey this whole time, but saying Origins?
No. This was like months ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Ubisoft had this big sale.
Oh, yeah. When I bought Mario Rabbids.
Yes, it was during that time. And I'm not sad about not getting it at $17. I mean, because it'll be 17 again. And honestly, I've still got God of War to finish. I'm probably like a third or a quarter of the way through that. And also, I can't play it right now. I'll get to that in just a second. But I have to play that. I've got to finish Spider-Man. I've got Red Dead 2 that I need to play. So I have plenty of like deep exploration games in my backlog. Your plate is full. I'm not interested. It's kind of the same reason why I'm staying off a Kickstarter right now. I'm trying not to draw money out of a bank account just so that I can have a game on my shelf.
Yeah, well, you'll forget about it, and then it comes, and then you realize
exactly what happens.
That maybe you didn't necessarily want it, but now it's here, and now it's going to go on the shelf.
Did I tell you that that's happened to me more times than I'm willing to admit? Like it's
you forgot about a thing?
Yeah. 100%. And what happens is I buy 2 of them because I'll back the Kickstarter because I want the game, or I'll pre-order the game or whatever it is. Then I get so many stupid emails from all these, companies that are trying to sell me games. And I'm like, oh, that looks like a fantastic game. I can still pre-order that? Yeah, absolutely. So then I get 2 copies of these games that come in. And I guess they're just giveaway fodder because I don't need 2 copies of all these games. It happened just the other day with Lanterns Dice, which is a great game. But
is it 2 copies worth?
Like I'm looking over. This is my secondary shelf of shame over here in my office. I currently have Chronicles of Crime Noir, the expansion. Accidentally ordered 2 of those. Concept, accidentally ordered 2 of those. And Lanterns Dice, accidentally ordered 2 of those. And I probably have another one at home, like another Fugitive or something like that. Like I have duplicates of games, and People are like, oh no, first world probs. I'm like, no, but seriously, like if I could just get myself to understand, you already ordered that stupid game. Stop. Think of all that. I mean, like that right there, that's easily $100 worth of games. Maybe just shy of 100 that I could have spent on anything else. I don't know.
It's pretty funny. Since it's not happening to me, it's hilarious. If it was happening to me, I would feel exactly how you feel.
Right. So I don't know. Like I said, it's giveaway fodder and stuff like that. They're all great games. I just don't need 2 of them.
Well,
Matt's. We're gonna get into him. He's been playing. He's dead or dying right now. And hopefully he doesn't, because then that would be really bad, and we might have to cut this part of the podcast.
Yeah, that would be sad.
It would be sad.
You would feel so guilty if he did die, and you said.
I would. Yeah. 100% I would.
Anyways.
I would drink a LaCroix in his honor if he did.
Mm-hmm. Pour one out.
And it would be the most heartwarming eulogy. I would be willing to give that eulogy, or at least speak.
At Matt's funeral?
Yeah.
Assuming you were invited. Oh.
Well, of course I'd be invited. He's not there. He is, but it's like,
This is taking a morbid turn.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's great.
I would be genuinely
nerds watch
sad.
Walking Dead and stuff, so it's fine.
If Matt died, I would really genuinely be sad.
I would. Legit. Yeah, Matt's one of my best friends.
I would probably cry in my room.
Would you really?
Not when I got the news, I wouldn't cry. But then I would take that news and go in my room.
Why would you not cry when you got the news?
Because you have to process it. If you just start crying automatically, then you might.
What is there to process?
I don't know the details.
What? It wouldn't change the outcome.
It wouldn't. No, it wouldn't change the outcome. Just
let the record show I would cry on the spot.
You would,
because I'm a better friend than Kate is. I would do an entire podcast episode where it's just me crying. Just me crying. So hey, Matt, that sounds exhausting. Just don't die. Do us a favor. But he played. We know for a fact that he played Keyforge.
We do. There's evidence.
Beard Bros. He played it. He talked about it on Beard Bros. Him and an imposter. Aaron.
I liked that, Bubba.
Masquerading. That's identity theft.
She looked exactly like you.
She? Do I look like I'm about to knock over a convenience store?
She looked exactly like you, and she nailed the tone of your voice. She had it.
She had a hoodie on. She had a paper beard. She had sunglasses.
It's a felt beard.
And she had her hood up. I mean, she looked like she was ready to rob somebody or something. It was criminal. It really was. But her and Matt talked about Keyforge, and then they also turned around and played Keyforge on co-optional on Saturday. So go check that out. Share the stream, do all that stuff.
Yeah, because you can win a copy of it. So
well, by now we will have already picked.
Oh no, it's already done. Man, time traveling's hard.
Tell me about it. But anyway, the long and skinny of it, and we'll let Matt kind of talk about this next week when he's back.
Hopefully.
But yeah, we have to believe. We gotta believe
when he returns.
When he is back next week, you gotta speak over it, speak truth over it. And so when he gets back, we'll let him talk about it. But kind of the gist of it is that he did not enjoy Keyforge and had to make himself like it. He had to play it until he understood kind of why things were happening and, got into the groove of it. I have not yet played. I have 2 Keyforge decks. I didn't buy a starter pack or anything, but I have 2 Keyforge decks that I got at like Gen Con or PAX Unplugged or something last year. And they've just been sitting on my shelf because I've not taken the time to learn that game.
Well,
I don't know.
Now you can watch 2 people play it, and you can.
Oh, I did watch.
And you can play your decks. But like Aaron said, sometimes you get a good one, sometimes you get a bad one.
I don't know. I'm still not sold on it. And I honestly bought those 2 decks because the guy that owns the shop here in town, he was like, hey, we love playing Keyforge. And I was like, oh yeah, no, I'll get those to play with you guys. And I've never done it. So, but I don't know. I mean, you don't have to enjoy every game that you play, and that's okay.
That's true. It's okay
So
to not
you guys
dig
might
it.
Love Keyforge. You might absolutely love it. I'm not sure I'm a fan, and Matt, there are things about it he likes, but I did. We were looking at we were buying a gift for a friend of ours, and I saw Pokemon the card game. I cannot believe that's still like an
Wow.
actual card game. And one thing I didn't realize was that they're owned by Wizards of the Coast, same company that does Magic the Gathering. And so, like, they're still pumping out new stuff, and you can still pick up brand new starter decks and expansion.
That's
and,
so crazy.
I played that in middle school.
That's wild.
Yeah. And so, I guess the Pokemon craze is still like really going. We'll talk about that in a second. But I've thought since seeing that, and we've seen it a couple times, before too, but I've thought that maybe I should like pick up a couple of decks and start teaching Caleb how to play. Like, cause that's probably a good like intro. He's 7. It's probably a good intro card game for him to play. I will say we have been playing, I forgot to write this down, but we've been playing the Enemo card game. He and I have. So the developer sent us a deck and an expansion deck, and it's like a Bible verse learning card game it's very Pokemon-esque, and it plays a lot different. There are two modes. There's one that's called, I think it's called Guard Your Heart or Build Your Heart or something. I can't remember off the top of my head, but you flip cards over until you get the best possible ones, and you can change stuff out, and then if you can remember on your center card, you keep it secret, and if you can recite the verse on it, then you get extra bonus points and stuff like that. So it encourages children and adults via the transitive property here.
Yeah, maybe I should play it
to like learn scripture and stuff. And it's geared towards kids, but then there is like a higher, like a battle version of it, to where like you have, you can upgrade your cards, like you can evolve Pokemon and stuff like that. So we're doing that, but also he's been wanting to do more and more Pokemon stuff. So we might get a couple of Pokemon starter decks.
It's better than when I was growing up. I found a Pokemon card on the ground at school, and I was all excited, and I brought it home, and my mom's like, "Throw that out! That's the devil's creatures." So
you just invited them into your house.
Yeah, she's like, "You want that in here?" I'm like, "No."
Oh man, dude, the
now
satanic
she knows.
panic.
Now she knows, and she's like, "Sorry, I made you throw it out." And I'm like, "Well, it's gone now. It's too late."
Yeah, we had a lot of those conversations, honestly, at Family Fun Comic-Con, because it was a comic convention that was held at a church. So there was a lot of like, people that were in the church that didn't know about nerd culture, and so we got to talk to them about like, this is kind of where your head might be, and here's why this is not what you think it is. But people think about like Pokemon as like these familiar spirits and stuff like that are in your house, and I was like, I have never heard of a Pikachu familiar spirit.
I don't know.
Yeah,
that's just me though. I've
done a lot of world religion, studies. But so anyway, that's not even like what I've been playing. Like, one of the things that I have been playing is we played while we were out at Family Fun Comic-Con. We played a ton of Smash. I was very grateful at the amount of Smash that was played, because it was my Switch that was being played on, and those guys were just unlocking characters left and right for me.
Lucky you.
It was fantastic. Over the course of like, it was from like 10 to 4, and over the course of that time, they probably unlocked 6 or 7 characters, which is pretty great. So they were playing a lot of that, and it was great. Chris and I were playing with some of them, and just made for some really, really, really great times. We got to teach people how to play Pandemic, which for me, that's the game. Like, if people are not into the hobby, like the tabletop gaming hobby, or if they've been out of it and all they know about it is like Yahtzee and Scrabble and Monopoly, like, Pandemic is one of the games that I teach them, because I think it's one of the games that teaches or shows you how games have evolved and kind of what a good baseline is for tabletop today. And it's co-op, which is great. You're not trying to grind each other into a fine powder.
I'll have to learn how to play that one, maybe at LTN Con.
Oh, yeah.
Since I play 0 tabletop games, and answering your question, what did I play for International Tabletop Day? Nothing. I played Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Nailed it. But yeah, I mean, Pandemic is great. I love it. We also played The Game, which is not what you think it is. But
is that like now we've all lost?
Everybody who just lost the game, I apologize. That's not what I was trying to do, but that was a byproduct of. It's a game where you have 4 card stacks, and there's only there are 2 that say 100, and then they have arrows going down. So you descend from 100, and then there are 2 that have 1, and you're ascending up. So you're trying to get between 1 and 100, but there is only 1 of each card between 1 and 100. And you can play with up to, I think it's up to 5 players. And really what you're trying to do is you're trying to lay down in succession, or, depending on if you're going, ascending or descending, you're trying to get rid of all of the cards. So that
sounds fun, actually.
It is highly strategic, especially when you're playing with 5 players. So you would think, it gets really easy when you're playing with 2 characters. Well, it doesn't get any easier or harder with the number of players you play with. But it's a great game because it teaches a lot of like cognitive thinking and strategy and all sorts of stuff. And it's co-op. Again, here, I'm all about co-op. I think that's the way that you can introduce people to the hobby, and then you can crush them later in other games. But
crush and destroy.
That's it. Get them in and let them appreciate what the hobby is about. I posted this video, and if you guys haven't seen it, I recommend it. Just go watch it. It's me teaching my son the strategy of Otrio. We were sitting up there just, on Sunday afternoon waiting for my wife to get done doing something, and we were at church. And I went in and grabbed one of the games that we have. And Otrio is like super tic-tac-toe. There are like 15 different ways you can win.
I've seen it at Target.
Yeah, you can buy it at Target. It's like $20 at Target. You can play up to 4 players simultaneous. And so I was teaching him about strategy. And then I was like, well, I can also teach him like a life lesson. So there is a spot on the board that is the most advantageous. It's like the best place to play. You'll set you up. As long as you don't make a stupid bonehead move, then you will win every time in like 4 moves. And so I taught him the strategy. Like every time he would make a stupid move, I would say, you can do that, but that's a stupid move. And, I want him to understand. It's not like, wow, he's really hard on his kid. Like, no, that's not it. I want him to know that, hey, if you want to do that, you're welcome to, but that is not the best way to do that. And I know from personal experience, you have way more fun when you win. So how would you like to know how to win? And so, honestly, when we're playing now, if he starts, he'll beat me every time, no matter what I do, because he understands the strategy of the game. And we kind of rolled that into, it doesn't really matter what your place in life is. Like if you're born with a silver spoon in your mouth and it's just great and you have the best place, you can still make stupid decisions and screw up your lot in life. And so we kind of talked about that a little bit. And I'm like,
wow, just
because Caleb, that you're born, all things being equal, he's gonna be a Christian middle-aged white male at one point in his life. And maybe when he gets there, that's still one of, people think that it's the highest, most respected spot or whatever, like it's the easiest place in life, but he can still make stupid decisions regardless of his place in life.
That is true.
And not do well. So I don't know. I was thinking about that and I was like, why don't I just share that with the community? And so I did. And I hope that you guys get something out of that. I don't know. We might do some more of that stuff later, but with Love Thy Nerd, we're all about like thoughtful content. Like what can we do with games to help you think differently about them and not just mindlessly consume this medium? And that was just one thing I thought about. So we played Otrio, which, by the way, the lessons aside, it's just a fun game. I mean, if you're going to sit around and just play, it's easy. You can play 1,000 games in a row. The more people you play with, when you play with 4 people, it's like absolute chaos. And then you throw in a 3-year-old who doesn't understand anything. He's an agent of chaos. It's great. Last but not least, we played Fleet the Dice game. So Chris and I sat down to play this game while we were at Family Fun Comic-Con, and I had not played it. It was still in the cellophane, and I bought it, I don't know, a month and a half ago or something like that.
So you brought it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I brought it. And because I was like, it's a roll and write. And so, we'll play it with people because roll and writes are just, they're basic. A lot of times they're really easy to learn, and you can play with a billion people, and, it's low barrier to entry. Well, turns out that is not this game at all. Like, it is, there are 2 sheets that you have to keep track of. You're only rolling 6 dice, 3 in one phase and 3 in another. But then there are like a freaking 1,000 things on each page that you need to like think about. Each turn has like 6 phases. Like it's a whole. It's just mind-boggling. Mind-boggling? No, mind-boggling.
Almost.
There it is.
Almost got it.
I mean, it could be mind-boggling.
It could also be that.
Yeah. But it's astronomical the amount of things that are in this dice game. But once you figure out what you're doing, it's so much fun. It is so much fun because you sit there and you're like, okay, over the last 6 turns, I've been forgetting to do this. I've missed this, and this, and then you try and pick up the pace and you try and make better decisions. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It's a pain in the butt to learn because, like I said, there's 1,000 different things on that page, on those pages. But still, I love it. I recommend it if you're into kind of higher level games. I would say go ahead and get it. If you can play Scythe, you can play Fleet the Dice game. Kate, I'm looking at you.
I cannot play Scythe.
No, well, we tried.
Well, also I've actually never tried it, so it just
Did you
sounds.
not play with us at Academy?
No, not that game.
No.
I have to play Kate appropriate games.
We played Mountains of Madness. That's what we did.
Yeah, that was the one.
That's the last time I've played that game.
I didn't like it. And you and Matt both knew that I would not like it. So then you said, "Oh, you got to play this."
Yeah, we forced you to play anyway. I think
made
you
it.
tried to go home and we're like, nah.
Yeah,
you're
that
playing
is what
this game.
happened. That is what happened. And then I couldn't leave. It's fine. It's over.
Well, let us know what you guys have been playing. We want to know. Like, these are just some of the things that we're playing. Video games and tabletop games and all sorts of stuff. But let us know on social media. Check us out everywhere that you can. All of the social media. We're only in 3 places. Little things. Maybe you've heard of them. Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We are at Love Thy Nerd on all 3 of them suckers. And hit us up. Tell us what it is that you are playing. What should we be playing? Is there something we're completely missing out on? If so, let us know, and we'll try and get that game into our lineup. Or maybe we have it on a shelf of shame or
maybe
in a backlog. Hey, before we move on, I was going to tell you why I can't play God of War.
Oh, that's right. What's the issue? What's going on?
This may fundamentally change the way that I play video games. Because when you buy a game digitally, you don't think about this because it's the year 2019. We live in the future. But if your internet goes down, you cannot play those games because you're buying a digital license to play those games.
Even
Even
if you buy physical, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Sometimes it's like this game requires the internet, even if you have the disc. And I'm like, why would it need that? No. But now,
which game does that for you?
All of them that I can think of.
Yikes. Okay,
I mean, I don't
maybe
remember
it's not going to change anything.
I don't remember the last new one that I put in that said that, but a lot of them are like, they say that whole, I think it's at the beginning, you're putting the disc in, something about it needs the internet.
Oh, man. Well, I got to experience that firsthand because our internet's been down for a while now, a couple weeks. And so, at one point, I just hotspotted off my phone. And it worked. I mean, it was fine until my phone died, and then I kept getting this error that was like, "Hey," or this notification rather. It said, "Hey, just want to let you know, we're gonna shut your game off in 20 minutes because we can't validate." And it kept doing this countdown in 15 minutes, in 10 minutes, in 5 minutes, and I'm in the middle of stuff. Like
yeah.
I'm trying to refill the Bifrost here in God of War, and. I'm like, okay, I'll get to this spot and then I'll be done. Well, I got to that spot and it was like, seriously, bro, we're about to shut this mother down and you're gonna lose it. So I was able to get off just in time, but you don't think about that stuff because
you don't.
It's the future.
So now it's like, even if you do have the disc in and you don't have any internet, now what? So you paid for the disc for what? Or you paid for the online license for what?
Exactly.
What is it all about?
What are we doing here? Well, so I mean, it just got me thinking. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, the internet is so imperative. Like, it's no longer is it just this, would be nice to have kind of thing. It is
a good
imperative
topic for another episode.
It's imperative.
Right,
yeah, we'll come back to it. But I think that it is just important to know that if you guys ever lose internet, you might lose your games as well. Because they have to verify on the online. And so not super happy about that, but well, hopefully ours gets fixed here fairly soon. But I just wanted to give you guys that little tidbit.
I think Mass Effect Andromeda was one that I know for sure told me that it.
Oh, really?
It needs the internet, and it's like, is it only games that have multiplayer aspects? I don't think so.
If you're not playing multiplayer, it shouldn't matter.
Then it shouldn't matter.
Unless it's just like it's not all on the disc, and some of it is like
that's what I
streaming.
That's what I think it is.
I don't know. Interesting. I don't know. So anyway, guys, let us know what you're playing and what we should be playing, and we'll catch you here in the next segment. So moving the show right along, we're gonna talk. I love this that we're doing this now, and you guys let me know what you think. But we've started doing this thing called Nerdy News. And it's really cool because we're just going to talk about a couple of things that are going on in the games industry. We're not going to camp on it. It's not our main topic. But we just want to keep you guys up to date on what's going on here in the nerd world. So first thing we have here, and Kate, you brought this to our attention, is a new game console.
It's a new game console. The people who published Firewatch are now making a game console with a crank. What does that mean, you ask? Well, picture...
You be the judge.
Picture this. Picture a yellow Game Boy Color, but half the size.
And no color.
It is black and white. And it also has no backlight on the screen. And it does indeed have a little crank on the right side. Has a D-pad and a B and an A button and a crank.
No start, no select, no anything like that. Now, so with the crank, what's the first thing that you would think off the top of your head that crank
I would assume it's for power.
That's what I thought.
For power reasons.
You crank on that thing and you charge it up, and then you can only play for so long as it's been cranked.
Yep. Well, you are wrong.
Stupid wrong. Which good, because that would have been absolutely ridiculously just stupid.
But is this any better? The crank. Here's an example of how the crank would work. There's a game that's coming out on this thing called Crankin's Time Travel Adventure, and this game uses the crank exclusively to control the flow of time backwards and forwards. And your goal is to get crankin' to his date with Crankette. Whatever that means.
Crankin' is obviously the name of the protagonist here.
Yes. So that's one way the crank can be used. Other ways, we don't know. But here's another interesting thing about this quote-unquote console. And I say quote-unquote because I don't know if it qualifies as a console. But 12 surprise games will be delivered to it over 12 weeks from different developers. You don't get to pick what games you want. You don't get to find a game looks interesting to you. You buy it and you play it. They pick the games and just upload it there somehow. Yeah.
You're not going to go into GameStop.
No.
And get a Playdate game. You're going to go buy a Playdate.
It's called a Playdate. I forgot to say what it's called.
You're going to go buy a Playdate, and you're going to hook it up to your Wi-Fi. And you're just, it's designed to be a surprise.
$150 surprise. That's how much it costs.
I am not sure about that price.
Me either. I'm like, nope.
I don't know, dude. I don't even know that it's a good experiment at $150.
No, maybe $50.
I would do $50.
You would back it if you saw it on Kickstarter at $50. You, Bubba Stall Cup, would definitely.
I'd be all in. I might even go $75 on like some deluxe Kickstarter edition.
You'd be all about the 400 by 240 low power LCD, and it's highly reflecting, which Playdate says makes it look gorgeous in bright sunlight. So.
Well, and they even say that too, right? Like, hey, if you want to play this thing at night, you're gonna need a light.
You're gonna need a light. So,
and I remember this with the Game Boy.
Me too.
Pre-backlight, having to do this. I shameful moment. I remember hiding these things, like hiding from my parents when I was playing under the covers at night when I was supposed to be sleeping, and I like wedging. I'm trying to show it. It's terrible on podcast, but wedging a flashlight in between my chin and my shoulder and playing with the covers over my head at night. Like, I don't want to be doing that again.
I feel that. No, it's done. The time's done. So why
is so far from that.
This is just a really odd kind of thing to see people make. So
Who
that's
is
why
this for?
I don't.
Who is this for?
Beats me.
Yeah.
Maybe
I'm
people
not
who
sure.
like nostalgia and want to take it to another level of new nostalgia, new age
Yes.
nostalgia. I don't
Well, hey,
know.
Panic, if you're listening, prove me wrong. Send me one of these things, and we'll change my mind. That's all I'm saying. So that's the play date from Panic.
Yeah. Yep.
Also, hey, speaking of games that are coming out, speaking of nostalgia and throwback,
That's true. Call of
there's
Duty.
a Call of Duty Warfare remake that's coming out.
But they said it's not so much a remake, it's a reimagining. Because when I heard
What
that,
is the difference?
I saw the trailer. It was freaking awesome. I was like, I want back in on the Call of Duty hype train,
Yes.
you know? And then it said Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I'm like, wait a second. This has already been a thing, hasn't it?
Yes.
Which it has in 2007. Call of Duty
Well,
4
so
Modern Warfare.
you go back, look at God of War. God of War's title is God of War, period.
Yeah.
There's already a game with that name. It was God of War. So they've gone back.
But is
and
it
they-
anything? It's not all the same though. It's all different.
But
well, I guess
maybe
it's
that's what this is.
a
This isn't
reimagining.
remastered.
No, it's not.
It's not remastered. It's Modern Warfare. So
And it
I don't
does
know.
have
I
the
mean-
same character in it, who was Captain Price, who was a kick butt character in the original
Yeah.
one that I played. And yes, I have played multiple Call of Duty games. I was kind of good at multiplayer. It depends how many hours I practiced. But I just was like, this trailer is so awesome, but didn't this game already come out? The answer is sort of. The answer is sort of. Oh, you just got to watch the trailer. If you haven't seen the trailer, even if you don't care about Call of Duty, just watch the trailer. It's so
Yeah.
cool. Steven was like, "What is this?"
So I don't know. I'm way more than interested, and we haven't even talked about the most important part of this whole thing,
Which is?
that crossplay. There was crossplay natively inside of this Call of Duty.
That's so crazy.
Hey, you're on Xbox? Cool. You can play with your PlayStation bros. That's ridiculous.
It's gonna be
unprecedented.
really interesting to see how that plays out. I mean, I'm not saying that I think it's gonna be bad. I do think it's gonna be good, but I think this is gonna be one of the. Correct me if I'm wrong. One of the first major AAA big deal games to do this.
That's the thing. That's the
Am I
big
wrong,
thing.
or-
No, it's
Okay.
not like, normally you would say, oh, okay, you get crossplay on, and I don't mean to downplay this, but you get crossplay on games like Fortnite. You get crossplay on games like, what's Rocket League, like, these kind of AAA out of nowhere indie kind of free to play,
Yeah, but this-
these kind of games.
This is a whole other.
This is Call
deal
of
here.
friggin' Duty. Like, it's a big deal. We should be excited about this as nerds because the console wars, I don't want to say they're ending because you're still going to get your exclusives. There's still going to be, this one's better than this one. People are going to, rage about that. But this is blurring the lines. That it's not mattering so much. So I think this is really the first big thing we're seeing from like what we talked about a couple weeks ago, which was the Sony and Microsoft treaty. I guess we'll call it.
I would call it a treaty.
Yeah, a
What are the-
ceasefire.
What do they
as
call
were.
it in the Pirates of the Caribbean? I can't think of the word. I'll think of it
parlay.
later. Parlay.
Yeah. But so anyway, like this is a big deal and it's great. And I mean, Call of Duty in and of itself gets a really bad rap because you just get a reskinned Call of Duty every year, blah, blah, blah. It's really confusing going back and forth between the companies that are doing them and, the developers rather. And so I don't know. Our community, Love Thy Nerd community on Facebook is pretty optimistic about Call of Duty, Modern Warfare. And if I have good internet, I will get it and I will play it. If I don't, then I won't. And I'll just watch YouTube videos while I'm at work.
Even I
So,
might. Well, no. I don't want to be swayed
You already said it,
by
Kate.
a cool trailer.
It's too
I
late.
don't
You already
know.
said it.
I've already said it. It's already out there.
It's out there.
That's the thing with words.
Well, you know what, guys? Those are just a couple of things that are happening in the nerd world. And we did not even talk about E3. E3 by the time you hear this, probably press conferences are already starting to happen. Things are going. We're not giving any predictions. We're not doing that. We're going to experience E3, and then we will talk about it next week on the episode. So come back, tune back in for that. But let's move on to our main topic at hand, and that is we want to talk about Pokemon. And there's a lot of stuff coming. They just did a kind of a mini, what was it, like a mini direct or something like that, where they just dropped. I don't even know if it was a direct. It was just a series
it was like
of tweets,
a press
right?
It was like a press conference, and they were like,
okay,
I think. And then what I saw were 4 Facebook posts that were labeled 1, 2, 3, 4 from the Pokemon company, and each one had a different announcement in it. And I was like, "What is this?" And I asked you about it, and you and Matt said, "What is that?" And I sent a screenshot.
Well, and we'll talk about why it was weird here in just a second. But so let's go through. Kate, why don't you take us through these different things?
Okay, well, I'm still confused by some of them, so I'm just going to try my best.
That's all we can ask for.
This one, announcement number 1, Pokemon Home, I guess is a cloud-based service. So for Pokemon games and Pokemon products.
So you've got your Nintendo 3DS Pokemon Bank. Okay, so if you played on 3DS, you were able to store inside of your bank all of your Pokemon. You can upload that to home. Anything you catch on Pokemon Go, all your shinies and all that jazz, upload to home. And also Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. You can upload those Pokemon that you've caught in-game.
Yeah, I have a shiny on there.
And we've already been able to go back and forth between like Pokemon Go and Pokemon Let's Go.
Yeah, and then the upcoming Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Sword and Shield.
Yeah.
So this is the big one, right? So everything, all these other games, you can upload to Pokemon Home. With Sword and Shield, you can upload and download from Pokemon Home. So all of these Pokemon that you've uploaded from the other 4 games, or 4 services rather, you can now download into Sword and Shield.
And then,
which is pretty crazy.
It is crazy, and it is a good incentive to want to hop on these 2 new upcoming games, which you said earlier was like end of 2019. My question is, how many doll hairs is this going to cost? I think it should be 0.
I think it might be 0. I think what they're trying to do is they may offer this as a free service, and then what it's going to do is it's going to encourage people to get onto Pokemon Go, and I think this is going to encourage people also to purchase Pikachu and Eevee. Let's go Pikachu and Eevee.
Yeah,
because right now, I'm looking at that going, I don't want to buy that. But what they're saying is, hey, buy it, play it, and then you can take those Pokemon into the next game, the next 2 games that you buy.
Which has always been a pain in the butt when you're playing Pokemon games, because you work your butt off to have a killer team, to have all these Pokemon, to catch all these shinies and rare Pokemon, and then that's it. And you have to start over for the next game. So I see what they're doing. I'm just like, is this cloud-based service going to be just between all these Pokemon products? Is it going to be somehow linked to Switch online? Because the Switch here is playing a huge part in it, but then no, you don't want to isolate people who have just Go and 3D.
I don't think it is.
Stuff.
I don't think so, because I don't think it's Switch Online, Nintendo Switch Online, because you can upload from your Pokemon Bank to it. So I think it's going to be on their servers outside of being reliant on the Switch. But I think that they want you on the Switch.
Yeah, and with all these things that we're going to talk about, they didn't give in-depth details for every single one. It was kind of like this thing's coming out, so that's why we're guessing and not just reading the next sentence, because it doesn't say. So
yeah, there is no next sentence.
There is no next sentence. This is conjecture.
That's it.
So I don't know. That'll be really interesting and kind of changing the way that people play Pokemon, I think, and might have like a resurgence for people who have played the older games who honestly, in on this.
Legit, that's making me think about getting either Let's Go Pikachu or Let's Go Eevee. I don't think it's not going to make me get back into Pokemon Go, because I can't with that. That was a complete time sink for me.
Yeah, well, this one might be similar. It has some similar aspects, but I mean, I have Let's Go Eevee, and I had a nice time.
But I can play that at home though. Like I have to be out and away to play Pokemon Go.
Yeah. Well, if you're gonna pick one, just to let you know, I got my own Pikachu in like 5 minutes into the game, and I got Let's Go Eevee. So you might want to get.
Oh, really?
Eevee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know if he's any good, but whatever.
Well,
okay,
he's the man.
He is the man. This next one is the one that I sent to you, and I don't understand.
Just don't.
Pokemon Sleep.
Yep.
With select button. I don't know what that is.
Yep.
But apparently this is a mobile game. But how can you play it if you're sleeping? That's just my question. But I don't. It says soon trainers.
You don't play, it plays.
I guess it plays you. I don't know. Soon trainers will be able to wake up.
Russia, gameplay you.
Yeah, exactly. We'll be able to wake up with Pokemon every morning with Pokemon Sleep, a mobile app from the Pokemon Company. Pokemon Sleep aims to turn sleeping into entertainment by having a player's time spent sleeping.
Missed opportunity to just label that sleep attainment. By the way, I'm just
sleep
gonna
attainment.
Put that up.
That's true.
Yeah.
But so the time you spend sleeping and the time you wake up will affect the gameplay. So what is that supposed to mean? If you sleep in, your Pokemon are going to suck, or what?
Or maybe not. Maybe they'll be better. I don't know. Like that's what I don't understand.
I don't get.
And I hope to understand more during the Pokemon Direct. And you guys have already seen it, so hopefully you already know what we're talking about. And you're like, oh, I'm stupid. Of course, it works like this. It makes sense. But that's the thing, is it's like I think it wants to help you get more rest, because nerds by nature, nerdy by nature, that's my new band name. Called it. It's mine. Nerds by nature are like night owls, and fairly lethargic, but they hang around. They don't necessarily sleep a lot. So I think this is trying to get people on healthy sleeping schedules. That's my understanding.
But what are they going to do with the data? Like, why? What are you going to do?
Who cares?
It says the device will use an embedded accelerometer to track a user's time sleeping and send this info to their smartphone.
Okay, so that's the device was the third thing. And this is out of order. I feel like we just stopped trying when we named this thing. This thing is called the Pokemon Go Plus.
There's 2 pluses.
So we already had the Pokemon Go Plus, right? That was the little ball that you could shake, and no, it wasn't the ball. It was the little clicker that looked like a Pokestop. That whenever it lit up, you could click it, and it would play the game in your pocket without you having to look at it, and it would let you know, blah blah blah.
Yeah, it says the Pokemon Go Plus works by setting it on your bed where it can track your sleep. You set it on your bed?
Like on top of the covers?
I don't know. I don't get it.
What's this thing? What is this thing doing?
And it tracks your sleep.
I don't know about this, man.
So creepy. Like, I don't understand the bigger picture of it. Just get a Fitbit or an Apple Watch.
Okay, so you can use it with Pokemon Go during the day and with Pokemon Sleep.
To do what?
At night.
I'm
guessing it's going to work just like I was talking about. It's going to work like the Pokemon Go Plus, but the Pokemon Go Plus doesn't have the accelerometer in it, so it doesn't know when it's not moving. So maybe that's what it is. I'm not putting that thing on my bed. I'm just telling you right now. It'll get kicked off, or a cat will take it, or something like that.
It's just creepy. It's just creepy. I don't know. Something about it feels creepy to me. And
I didn't see a video.
Trainers can look forward to Pokemon Sleep launching in 2020. Look forward to it. Sleeping. I bet you go to sleep, and the time you spend sleeping translates to experience points for your certain Pokemon. But what about me? I need less sleep. So what does that mean?
Well, either way, you can celebrate this early look at Pokemon Sleep. Trainers around the world will have the chance to encounter Snorlax that are laying down and in deep sleep in Pokemon Go.
No, I don't like it. It's getting weird. They're going to infiltrate your dreams, put Snorlax in it. I don't know.
Freaking idea.
But I guess.
Well, so there's a fourth thing here, and I feel like they just got. I don't want to be a hater. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. We didn't just pick this out so we could shoot holes in it. But I feel like we started to care less and less and less the more we got down the list.
I know,
so
because
start off
now,
with Pokemon Home. Hey, we got this. You'll be able to do this with our upcoming Switch. It'll be great. Oh, and then we got this thing, and then this thing, and then so the last.
And then
thing
here's
here,
the last thing. Just
Pokemon Masters. It's another mobile game featuring a collection of the series trainers and their main Pokemon, with the gameplay seeming to be like a 3v3 battle. Oh, cool.
okay.
Yeah, I don't.
My question is why?
Why would I play this instead of Pokemon Go?
I don't know. Or maybe you don't have Pokemon on any other system. Maybe you just don't.
I mean,
you've never played. Well, why would this be? I don't know. Why?
At this point, here's what Pokemon needs to do. The Pokemon company just needs to build a phone. Just make a phone. Because that's what you're trying to do.
What's it called? A Playdate with a crank.
Yeah, that's it. Because what they're doing right now is they want you to install apps that run all the time on your phone and drain your battery. So just make a phone. Just be done with it. Build everything into the device. Do everything you want to do. Collect all my data. Mine it the way that you want to mine it. The only thing I'm excited about in this whole thing is Pokemon Home. That's it.
I agree, and I just feel like with these 4 random announcements, it's just too much. Like, why say anything about any of this when you have a direct or whatever coming up? Why can't you just talk about it then?
It does seem like some random
like 1, 2, 3, 4.
marketing.
Here you go! Yay, happy! Woo! Pokemon Sleep. Like what? No, I have questions. Why?
Yeah, I have so many questions. Many questions.
Maybe they're just going to focus on the RPG.
People want. Somebody was sitting in a business meeting and like a pitch meeting, and they were like, you know what? This is exactly what they want. People want to be able to train their Pokemon while they sleep.
I know, and I can't. If I was in that meeting, I'd be like, "Excuse me?
Yeah.
Pardon me."
What was the focus group for that? Well, I mean, who was asking for that? Not me. I don't know.
That's my question when I looked at this. That's why I sent it to you and Matt, saying, "What is this stuff?" And you're like, "What is it?
What even is it?" Yeah. No. I mean, honestly, I sent it back. I was like, "Is this an April Fool's thing?" Or I mean,
yeah, you're like April Fool's. I'm like, "No, it's for real. Pokemon Sleep is real."
Also, it's June. Yeah.
And not trying to be haters. We're just not understanding. So.
Yeah. One of the comments here says, first they make Pokemon Go to get people outside. Then they make Pokemon Sleep to get people to get a restful night's sleep. I'm waiting for the Pokemon brand version of MyFitnessPal to show up, because by God, Nintendo's gonna make us GD nerds healthy yet. It's like, leave me alone, Pokemon. Let me live my life, man. I don't know.
I just don't want to be a part of it. I'll just play the other game when it comes out. Sword
tell you what,
and Shield or whatever, maybe.
That's me. I will not be downloading Pokemon Sleep. I'm not going to be getting a plus divided by multiplied by. Yeah, I'm not getting one of those things, because as we all know, I've got several copies of games that I need to buy, and so
yeah,
like I'm not gonna get this stuff.
I have my,
and I'm already in on Sword and Shield. Like I will be getting those games.
I'm fine with that. It's this other random stuff, and it's like, are you trying to convince me of something? And if so, what is it?
Yeah. How bored are you guys right now at the Pokemon Company? Is that what's going on?
Let's come up with 4 ideas and then release them all at once. It'll be brilliant. Yeah. I don't know.
I might have just led with Pokemon Home and just been done with it. I'm like, all right, this is the thing that we have to show you guys.
My Fitbit tracks my sleep, and I'm fine with that. But I don't want any Pokemon looking at it.
Yeah, I mean, I've got an Apple Watch. It does that, and it doesn't need to do anything else.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Well, guys, I'm if you're excited about that, super cool. I don't want to throw any shade. Maybe you can
explain it to us.
Yeah, explain it to us like we're 5, okay?
That's what we need right now.
Because we can't understand the need for that. Maybe it's a trend, Maybe they're trying to get in on the Fitbit, Apple Watch, wearable, trend. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. I have to believe that's what it is. But let us know in the comment section below on this Facebook post, or this episode's Facebook post, or on our website at lovethynerd.com/freeplay. What do you think about all this stuff? Are you in? Hit us up on social media at lovethynerd on all of the 3 major platforms: Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Are you excited about these Pokemon things? Did the Direct reveal anything to you to help make sense of all of this? And I'm very I really, truly mean this. I hope that it did. I really hope that it did.
Same, because that would suck if it didn't.
It really would. But hit us up. Let us know what you think about all this stuff on social media. And guys, that's going to do it for this episode 56 of the Free Play Podcast. That's a lot.
So many.
That's a lot. Be sure to check us out on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, YouTube, and really anywhere else that podcasts are found. And if you can't find us where you listen to podcasts, just let me know. And I will do my best to get us on there with the help of Clausen. Send me an email, bubba@lovethynerd.com. And like I said, I'll do my best. And if you are not already a part of the Love Thy Nerd Facebook group, just do it. Head on over to Facebook and check us out. Just search Love Thy Nerd, like our page, and request to join our group. I just want to know one thing. I got one question to make sure you're not a robot. What's up, nerds? You answer that, you get into the community, you're a part of the Rat King meme bed that we have, and we will let you in there and we'll hang out and talk about all things nerdy and just really celebrate the hobby of being a nerd and just let you geek out about your favorite fandom and all that stuff. The Facebook community is the place to do that. Once again, you're going to want to check us out on all those platforms. We are at Love Thy Nerd on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Kate does a great job of sharing wonderful content and all the stuff that we're working on our website, lovethynerd.com, where we have all of our podcasts or shows. We've got Beard Bros and Co-optional, and we also have just thoughtful content, great, wonderful articles. We've got one up right now that is how to get into anime. Mm-hmm. And people ask that all the time. Like, where do I start? If I wanna start watching anime, what should I start?
Yeah.
And the answer is, I have no freaking clue.
Me either.
But that article will tell you what you need to do. I'm always like, I'm pretty sure Pokemon is anime. I'm gonna start there. I know that one.
Is it?
One Punch? I don't know. Maybe. Oh. I think technically it is.
I guess we should ask Brittany who wrote this article, or read the article.
Yeah. But it's great. You're going to want to check that out. And we've got a lot of great like teaching stuff on there. So if you're wanting to learn how to connect with nerds, or if you want to get into different fandoms, like why do board games matter? Why do comics matter? That kind of stuff. We have all that on the website and more coming. So you're going to want to head over to lovethynerd.com. And as I talked about at the very beginning of the episode, we're part of a Love Thy Nerd podcast network. It's not just us. It's not just a Free Play podcast, but we've also got Humans of Gaming with Chris and Drew, where they interview people in the games industry, all different variations of what that means to be in the games industry. But they'll talk about them, what makes them tick, why do they do what they do, and then they always get into what their spiritual background is, how that factors into the decisions they make and the jobs that they have. And then we've also got a comics podcast with Chris P. We call him Crispy. And Hector, and they talk about all things geeky, comic-y, all sorts of stuff. That is the Pull List Podcast, and you're going to want to check out both of those. You can get to them both on our website, lovethynerd.com, or just by searching either Humans of Gaming or Pull List Podcast, as well as Free Play Podcast, if you found us in a different place, on your favorite podcast platform. And be sure to follow us, the Free Play Podcast, on Twitter. Kate's in charge of that as well.
I got to tweet something from there.
You'll do it. It's fine. I'm not worried about that. But guys, once again, I'm Bubba Stallcup.
I'm Matt Warmbier.
Perfect. Nailed it.
And I'm Kate Katawaki. It's real. It's me.
For real. And for our cut man, Jonathan Clausen. We'll catch you next week on a special E3 episode.
I'm
excited.
If
nobody else tells you,
Sorry.
Jesus loves you, nerds.
You have been listening to the Free Play Podcast with Bubba Stallcup, Matt Warmbier, and Kate Katawaki, part of the Love Thy Nerd Podcast Network. Be sure to rate and review the show and share on all the social media.
Yes, the original Modern Warfare is developed by Infinity Ward and published by Activision. So
this one's Treyarch.